Brazil's Supreme Court has come out pretty strong in response to widespread political corruption in their elections in recent years. They've banned corporate donations in politics, which is amazing. The entire country of Brazil is now free, at least temporarily, from the plight of corporate donations in politics. The court ruled 8-3 to block such campaign financing, which in the most recent presidential elections represented well over 90% of the funding for leading candidates and eventual presidents. That reminds me of another country I know. And this is one of the justices voting to ban it, said, "The influence of economic power culminates by turning the electoral process into a political game of marked cards, an odious pantomime that turns the voter into a puppet, crumbling in one blow both citizenship and democracy." And the particular law that they overturned allowed corporations to donate 2% of their gross revenue from the year prior to any particular election cycle.
Rosa Weber now is one of my favorite people on the planet.
I love that quote.
Yeah, that quote is amazing.
Great.
And in turning the voters into puppets. Think that through for a second, right? She's saying if you have enough money, you just simply buy off the politicians, which is what they were doing in Brazil, and they did it $2 billion in legalized bribes. Now, you hear that and you think like, ooh, that's a scandal. And it was a big scandal in Brazil. Remember, in the 2012 election, we also had $2 billion in legalized bribes that went to Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. But for us, it wasn't even a scandal.
Yeah.
That's how we run things. They're like, well, of course, the corporations bought two good products, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and they had a race, and the product Obama won instead. I mean, what's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
So, and she says, but if you take the money and you give it to the politicians, and they use it to buy their ads, do all the things that gives them a larger megaphone to be able to spread truth, lies, their positions, etc., to the people, and the other guy doesn't have a megaphone because corporations didn't give him billions of dollars, well, you've turned the people into a puppet because their votes are not actually informed. You're not in a real democracy.
Yeah.
One side has an overwhelming advantage you can't recover from, so the whole thing's become a sham.
Yeah.
Well, she was right about Brazil. She's also right, maybe even more so, about the United States of America, where these political donations are now considered fait accompli, and we're supposed to accept our fate and bow our heads and say the donors get to pick our politicians, and that's it.
Yeah.
I understood there wasn't going to be any Latin.
Or French.
Can I make one quick observation that I was watching? So in Bloomberg, the day after Joe Biden went on with Stephen Colbert and had that moment, the next day he had a meeting at his hotel with a big bundler that bundled for Barack Obama and golfs with him and everything. Joe Biden doesn't even know the guy. John Heilman reported that they had a meeting, and as he's telling the story on the news, John Heilman says, now, can you imagine, they both know the significance of this, what's happening. He calls a bundler, he doesn't even know, and they have a meeting. Just imagine, they knew what this meant. What this meant was that a bundler that the vice president doesn't even know has the power to decide if the vice president is worthy of running for fucking president. Yeah. And as John Heilman is telling the story, it doesn't even dawn on him that that's the problem, that our democracy has been hijacked, that nameless money bundlers are now the ones picking our candidates and not the citizens. And that's the story here. But the story to those guys is that, look, Joe's really serious now because he met with a bundler.
Yeah.
Like, the vice president would have no chance of getting elected if a billionaire wasn't behind him.
An anonymous billionaire.
How sick is our system?
Yes. It's like the camera can be on the puppet, but it can't pan up to the hands controlling it.
Yes.
It's like, that's impossible. Come on, the tripod doesn't go that high.
And look, in Iran, the mullahs pick the politicians the Iranian people get to vote on. And we call it a sham election. That's ridiculous. The Grand Ayatollah picked your two choices, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the Grand Ayatollah, it was a collection of mullahs in Iran that does.
Yeah.
In China, it's the Politburo. The Communist Party gets together and gives you choices. That's funny. In our country, actually a smaller percentage of people, Larry Lessig has proven this, okay? The number of people who donate to these politicians at a level that makes a difference, okay, is a smaller percentage of our country than the mullahs in Iran and the Communist Party in China. Our elite are a smaller group of people who are billionaires who tell you these are your choices. I pick candidate A for you and candidate B. And they're having a private conversation now on whether they'll let the vice president run for president.
No, you've proved once again that we are number one.
That's right.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it is both that they choose the 3 people you get to choose from, but even more insidious perhaps is that it's not a representative sample of the sorts of candidates that you could theoretically have. Only very specific platforms are allowed to get to that point, and that's why it's so shocking when somebody like Bernie Sanders is actually capable of running and getting the attention that he has.
Now, do you think they're going to let someone run who would be against their interests? Who would raise taxes on the rich?
Maybe they like competition.
So that's why when
Right.
Barack Obama ran against Mitt Romney, it was tails they win, heads they win. It doesn't matter. They were winners either way.
So Barack Obama had to change placards, and he won. So what? Hey, right? But what did he do? He made 94% of George Bush's tax cuts permanent.
Permanent.
Yeah.
Now, even George Bush couldn't make them permanent. So what did the donors know that we didn't know, right? They knew Barack Obama wasn't a real threat to them.
Yes.
That's why they gave him billions of dollars to run and to rerun for election again. So they're the puppet masters, and we're pretending we have a democracy. Why don't we rise up a little bit and see if we can rattle their cage?
Yeah.
Wolf-pack.com. Okay, once we start running, and we've already got 4 states, and we're picking up steam, and we start to come after these guys, and you start to see the sweat dripping down their forehead, and you will. I guarantee you, mark my words, there'll be a moment on TV where you'll see somebody talking about Wolfpack and this whole thing about getting a constitutional amendment to not let the rich decide our elections, where money can't control. No, no, no. And you will see literally a sweat running down their brow. And I'll point it out to you, and I'm telling you, a year at a time, however long ahead of time, it's going to happen. And when you see that, you're going to feel fantastic, right? When you put the fear of God in them, that we're going to upturn their system. We're not the right wingers. We're not crazy. We do it right. We do a political revolution, okay? And we get democracy back, right? But that scares the hell out of them, because that might cost them hundreds of millions of dollars they're stealing from us right now, right? And when we say, hey, we're going to put an end to your stealing, to your robbery, to the puppet masters, ooh, that's going to put the fear of God in them. Let's go overturn their apple cart. Wolf-pack.com. Come be a warrior for us, and then you'll see what power's about.